Good evening, good evening. Um, so today I have another rant. Me being Angry Michael, I have another rant about the stuff that Windows keeps doing in their operating system that annoys me and frustrates me to no end. Like you have no idea how much this stuff annoys me. So I have another rant today. Are you happy?
Yes.
And all the children rejoiced, for Michael has a rant. So today's rant is about PDF files.
Oof.
Okay, so I'm going to give a context. You know that I work at a dental clinic, right?
Yeah.
And we deal with a lot of x-rays.
Yeah, for sure.
And so every client that does an x-ray, sometimes we have to print it and put it in their file or attach it to their receipt so that they could show it to the insurance company so that they will pay them out or like, with the deductibles and everything. So one thing they have to do is also print out the x-rays to give them to doctors and for other references. And they use a special software that works with our x-ray machine. When you do the whole cranium scan thing, you can select a part of the skull that you want to print. And the problem is that if you want a certain part of the skull, sometimes when you save a picture of this part, it will save it but flipped. I don't know why. The software does that. So the x-ray software is weird.
Like flipped, like a
The
mirror?
image is upside down.
Oh, okay.
The image is upside down.
Okay,
And
that's weird.
we save the images as PDFs because when you print x-rays, you have to print them as PDF or else it's going to screw up everything. Anyways, long story short, the only way to flip that I know with Windows is by taking a screenshot, saving it as an image of the picture that I took a PDF from, that I converted to PDF.
So you're taking the picture, you're taking the PDF that's flipped, it's upside down.
Yeah,
You're
taking a screenshot of that.
Turning the screenshot into a PDF and then printing that.
Yes. Why? Why can't I just press on the Mac? On the Mac, I open the PDF viewer called Preview. I press Command R for turning it to the right, and Command L to turn it to the left. And then I close the thing, and it's already saved. I don't even have to press Command or Control S to save, or go in files and save the image or save it as. No, just close it. It will save on its own.
Wow.
If I do the same thing with Adobe Acrobat or any other PDF editing software like our PDF Architect or PDF Creator or anything else on Windows, it will not work. Dude, you know. I bring now my Mac to work just because of the PDF issue. Like
Really?
the employees just put the PDF file in Dropbox. I take it, I flip them for them, and send it back to them.
No way.
Because it sucks on Windows. I challenge you to go take a PDF that is flipped. The image in the PDF is flipped.
Try to flip it over.
To flip it and save it. You know what will happen?
It'll save it flipped.
You will save it, you will unflip it, like you put it upright as it's supposed to be, using the flip menu, the flip section, whatever it's called, the flip functionality within Acrobat. And then you save it and then close it. And if you reopen it, it will unflip it for you. It will put it back crooked or upside down.
Wow.
It's like you did nothing.
That's terrible.
Like, I don't know if I'm missing something, but why? Like, is it so hard to turn a picture or PDF upside down? Like, come on.
I don't know. I haven't used Windows in these cases, so I can't.
Oh, and by the way, Preview is like the best software ever. Like in Mac, it's like Paintbrush combined with Photo Viewer. Like you know the default photo viewing thing for Windows.
Yes. The Photos
app. Yeah, the Photos app. Yeah, so when you click on a picture, it opens it like in a special thing.
Oh,
yeah.
You mean like the Paint?
No. There's Paintbrush in Windows. Then there's the software. So when you have a picture and you have a meme on your desktop or a picture, you double click it, it opens it in the default Windows picture viewer.
Oh,
right?
yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I forgot what's it called. Maybe Media Viewer or something like that.
Yeah,
Anyways,
something like that.
And Acrobat. Preview does the job of all three. And flawlessly. and the functionality with Paint work on PDF.
Well,
I could do what I do in Paint within the preview application on PDFs. Imagine that. Try to edit a PDF file in Paint.
sorry, Michael, could we just take a second? My family's making a bit of noise, and I'm just gonna go tell them that I'm recording.
Go rebuke them sternly.
Sorry, it's not bad I interrupted.
I'll never forgive you. No, it's okay. I think we have finished this topic. We can go to the next one.
Hold on.
And he is back. He is back.
I am
he is
back. I have returned. Okay, so we were finishing up. Sorry, so we were finishing up on the Windows.
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay, so then let's start with the ECG.
All right. So next topic. Daniel, you sent me a very excited text message this week telling me that here. Actually, let me pull out my text messages. Actually, we had a lot of exciting text messages today, or this week.
We have, yeah.
So maybe they're noteworthy enough to mention. So the first one is you sent it on Tuesday, and it goes as follows: Bro, I updated to iOS 12.4, and that thing that wasn't working with a search on my iPad, now it works. And then you're like, yay, and then I'm like, yay, and then you go like, I got ECG on my Apple Watch. Also, can we record tonight? So let's start with the ECG, since this is the one we've been waiting for the most. Tell me about ECG.
It finally came to Canada after all these years. No, it's only been like a few months, but it's amazing. It works like an ECG. You have to be calm. I tried showing you, and you jerked me, and then it stopped working. So you may have to make.
I tried to induce a heart attack. Okay.
Yeah, he tried. See if it would sense the heart attack. But you have to make sure you're calm. You have to put your hand on either your lap or a table or something. Put your right or whatever your index finger, your opposite index finger on the digital crown, and it automatically starts taking ECG. I got treated with arterial fibrillation. And I went and go see the doctor, and they said I'm dying tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
So
I won't be able to go to your funeral, though.
Oh, why?
Yeah, I'll be busy then.
Oh, wow. I'm offended. I'm offended before I die that you're not coming to my funeral. So yeah, it works. It works well. It's not intended for use of people under 22.
You criminal!
I lied about my age. So
you criminal!
Yeah,
you've been using this feature against Apple's wishes. Tim Cook is gonna haunt you in your sleep.
Against Apple's wishes.
Tim Cook and Johnny Ive are gonna come to your room and they're gonna start beating you up.
But Johnny Ive doesn't work for Apple anymore.
It's okay. He's now the Apple's muscle.
He's coming
Apple's
back.
Muscle. Yeah, he's gonna come in his Rolls Royce to your house, knock on your door, and with his British accent, with a stern voice, gonna say, "How darest you use the feature against the terms and services of the company?" I can't do a British voice, you know that.
Yeah, I know, me neither.
If there's one voice, no,
aluminium.
Yeah,
sort of. Aluminium. But so yeah, I lied about my age and I used it. It works like an ECG. It takes 30 seconds to do it. I'm so happy it finally came to Canada, because this is like one of the biggest things of the Apple Watch. When it was first released, everybody was freaking out about the ECG. Not that I need an ECG. I don't have any problems with my heart. But it's just cool that it's there and that I could use it.
The German name of ECG sounds better. They spell it as EKG.
Yes.
I don't know why.
Yeah, EKG.
Just, I don't know, just putting a K makes it sound better and more professional. Elektrokardiogrammen. Aye.
So,
uns release like Elektrokardiogrammen.
Elektrokardiogrammen. So I'm happy about that. I'm happy that I finally got to use the ECG. I've been waiting so long. I actually went to the US and I tried using it, but it didn't let me because it told me you actually used my age for my Apple ID, but this one asks you to put in your age, and I lied.
You heathen.
Yeah. And then this thing has been bothering me so much.
Now, hold on, before you switch topic, hold on. Now you have the EKG, and the way it works, or ECG, the way it works is it detects. It has one diode or whatever it's called on the skin contact part with the sensors in the back of the watch.
Yeah, on the wrist.
And then you put your finger on the dial on the side, so it completes the circuit.
Yes.
The electric circuit. What happens if I tase you while you're doing it?
If you tase me, like electric taser?
Yeah, you know, like the self-defense tasers that mostly women use.
Yeah.
For self-defense.
Yeah, like those taser phone
The stun
cases.
things.
No, I'm joking.
The really loud
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, I know what you're talking about. I have no idea what's gonna happen.
Will
Should
it
try it. Do you have a
Will it
taser?
like detect? I don't know, man. I don't have one. But I want to test it on you. No, I'm just kidding. I'll knock you out cold.
buy one, and then we'll do it.
Will it fry your watch because it will overwhelm the sensors of the ECG, or will it actually detect like palpitations in your heart and think that you're dying? And
I don't know.
what if it actually detects?
The only thing is that I don't think I'm going to be keeping my finger on the digital crown when I'm getting tased.
True.
Maybe I will. Because a taser is not that bad.
I'll duct tape your finger on it. I'll duct tape your finger.
A taser is not that bad. If you're talking about a taser gun that the cops use, those things are pretty intense. But a taser is not that bad.
Oh, you mean like, how about if I try a barbecue starter? You know, the barbecue red button that you press to ignite it?
Yeah, that'll be pretty rough.
Like you could get those, but like as a shocking, as a shocking. So
I don't think it'll be too
bad.
bad. It depends how long you leave it on for.
Anyways, okay, and then the iPad. Tell us about your woes about the iPad.
So I had some woes with my iPad. What would happen is I have the brand new iPad.
You're cool.
11-inch. I've had it for a while, but it's new hardware, and I updated to iOS 12.3, which I should have never done. And all of a sudden, you know, when you're just on the home screen and you pull down from the middle of the screen, you get like the Siri search.
Yeah, Spotlight.
Yeah, exactly.
Spotlight search.
I would search anything, whether I'm searching a contact, whether I'm searching an app. It wouldn't work. Like I'll just type in the word and nothing. It wouldn't search anything. And this was super frustrating because I have a lot of apps on my iPad, and I have a lot of apps in folders on my iPad. So a lot of the times you don't see, as you're scrolling through the pages, unless I know exactly where the folder with that app is. And especially with the fact that we mentioned about this when we were talking about WWDC with iPad OS 13. The fact that when you have the iPad in landscape and portrait, there's the icons shift their positions.
Yeah.
So with that, it gets like on the phone, because you're always using it in portrait when you're on the home screen, unless you have a plus sized phone, but usually people don't use their home screen in landscape. But like on the phone, you always know like, okay, my camera app is here, this is there, and it becomes like a muscle memory. On the iPad, it's hard to form because it's different when it's landscape and portrait. And because of that, sometimes I have trouble finding apps. So very often I would use that Spotlight search, Siri search. And it wouldn't work, and it was super frustrating, and it was so weird because I would write out let's say I'm searching for Amazon. I would write out Amazon in the search bar. Nothing would happen. I would close the Siri search. I would open an app and reopen Siri search, and then it'll give me the option for Amazon, and like you want to search Amazon on the web and stuff like that. And that was really, really frustrating. And I had like a few other bugs. Sometimes my iPad would crash, but now I updated to iOS 12.4. Apple came to the rescue after like 3 months of frustration. And it's been working fine. My Siri search now works, which I'm really happy about. And that's my story.
You probably had some kind of bad download. Or just maybe Dwayne messed with your OS for somehow.
I think it was Dwayne who messed with my OS, yeah. He went on my Wi-Fi and he downloaded the bug.
Yeah.
But I'm surprised because usually Apple's good with bugs like that.
Well, considering that they literally patched and fixed all the problems you had, if it was a problem with this, like literally, a month later? Not even.
Yeah.
So you had that bug for like a month.
Yeah, maybe a bit more.
Which is a bit more, yeah, true. Which is kind of annoying actually, but not that bad. I think it was maybe rushed due to them splitting their attention between iOS 12 and iOS 13. Especially that Dub was coming up. It might have had less people working on 12.
It could be, yeah. They probably had more people working on 13.
Or maybe it was just a bad install. Maybe the Wi-Fi glitched while you were installing it, and it corrupted some part of the OS. I don't know.
Could be.
There's like a myriad.
Yeah, I was contemplating doing a full like hard reset.
Okay. Wait. The way you were going with this sounded really wrong. I was contemplating, and like there's so many like things, so many other words you could put after this. Like I was contemplating suicide. I was. Like, no one used "I was contemplating" in the sense of like anything else except suicide.
That's because of these problems with my iPad. That's what I was contemplating. No, I'm joking.
It's Dwayne's fault.
Suicide is bad. But yeah, I was thinking about doing a hard reset of the iPad and trying to fix this bug because it was really annoying and it's something I use often, especially on the iPad. I use it on my phone less, but I just had to get used to it without because I was too lazy to like have to make sure everything's saved and then like do a hard reset and all the apps getting re-downloaded and logging into all the apps and everything. And I do have the iCloud keychain, so that helps, but still, I was lazy.
Yeah, iCloud keychain, most underrated feature.
I even use their recommended passwords.
Nice.
Although it's not, I guess, ideal, but whatever. So, this past week, the news came out that Apple bought the 5G department from Intel for $1 billion.
Ooh, nice.
So Apple is going to be making their own chips for 5G. No Huawei garbage that's spyware in our phones. Apple is going to be making their own modems, which is a good thing because 5G is just around the corner. It's an interesting little tidbit that came out.
Hopefully, well, they kind of have to see when Apple started out in the ARM chip space, when they wanted to make their own A series line of chips, what they did is they bought out another company, and then gave the intellectual property to ARM, because ARM basically acts as the governing body for all ARM chips or ARM based chips, but make the technology available for anyone. So if you're a part with ARM, you get huge benefits because you get to partake with the patents of other companies without having to pay for them.
Oh,
see what I mean?
Wow, yeah.
Of course, Apple kept some of. They didn't give out everything. They give some stuff to ARM, and the rest they kept it for themselves. You know, the secret sauce stuff.
Yeah.
So
wow.
Yeah.
Interesting. So now they have 5G.
Yeah, they're probably doing the same thing. They're buying out Intel's technology because Qualcomm has all the rest of the intellectual property, and it's for Apple to be able to create everything from scratch will take a while. So they might as well buy something that's already ready and improve on it and continue research from there. Yeah, and when they're
makes sense.
Yeah, and they're buying also the employees behind it. So I think it was 2,200 employees.
Oh, wow.
Well, they're not buying the people, but they're buying. They're buying the division. Yeah. They're buying the whole division. So the division that
including like the employees.
Yeah. So those employees, I think they'll start working for Apple now. Yeah.
They're Apple employees instead of Intel.
Like I don't mean like Apple will probably give them an option. Like, do you really want to work for us? Like, if you're not motivated, just leave. And I don't think they're going to take the janitors either. You know. Like those are not. They're gonna take the engineers and the designers. They're
not taking the janitors.
No, poor janitors.
I'm a janitor for Intel.
Well,
in the department that just got bought
they're
out.
Gonna move buildings, so they're technically speaking, the janitors stay with the building where they're working at. You know.
Wow.
You know, Intel's gonna have a huge empty
building. I'm joking. Yeah.
Poor janitors. They're so underrated.
The janitors, man. Yeah, they're gonna have an empty building. They're gonna lose their job because there's nothing for them to clean if there's no people in the building.
Well, true and false, because in most heist movies, the janitor is always a person pulling the heist.
That's true.
He's always like a cleaner guy with his cleaning supplies on the little trolley thing, and he has guns and explosives and stuff in there. So technically speaking, Apple doesn't need those janitors, they could do without. And
Intel can keep the criminal janitors,
the heist people. So that's that. And we'll see, man. You wrote $5 billion, but it's actually $1 billion.
Yeah, I made a mistake. It's one.
So $1 billion, not that bad. Especially that Apple was already working with Intel prior to for them selling it, all those stuff. So most of that intellectual property, Apple already knows what it is because they had like involvement and like they were like the puppet master, like Apple being the puppet master and Intel being the puppet.
Yeah.
And Apple was kind of controlling with the direction in which Intel was going with that stuff. So they already know what they're getting. They're not getting like a mystery box full of bad surprises and like useless junk, you know? They know what they're getting.
Yeah, exactly.
And, I think Intel's doing a mistake, though. You know how they sold...
Getting rid of 5G?
Yeah, getting rid of 5G. It's a mistake. In the same way that Intel... got rid of their ARM division too early, and then
ARM was part of Intel.
They had a division where they were researching it.
No way.
They were researching ARM chips, and then they sold all that intellectual property to someone else, which I think is Samsung actually that bought it. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. Someone else bought their division, and now Intel regrets they lost tons of money because of that. So I think they're doing the same mistake again. They never learn from their mistakes, and whatever. Intel is Intel. They do stuff, no one understands why. Well, just like their naming schemes for the processors, no one will understand why and how.
That's why we're Team Red.
Team Red.
Over here, AMD.
Team Red.
Sponsor us.
Team Red and Team, what's it called? ARM.
I don't know what their color is.
Let's just call them Team ARM for now.
Team ARM.
Team ARM. I like my arms.
Team ARM. Yeah, me too.
It's random. All right, let's get started with the show. Welcome to the Again and Again podcast. I'm Michael, joined here with my co-host Daniel. This is episode 11 of the Again and Again podcast. So, today's first topic, we're gonna talk about the tech YouTubers that you should care about and why. And this is inspired by a YouTuber, a very respected YouTuber called Rene Ritchie. And he does that before every WWDC and the Apple keynote to help people find the relevant information. All kinds of news are about to hear about, whether it is WWDC or the Apple keynote. Lots of stuff happen. People analyze these things, and he recommends certain people. Now, we want to do something like that, but not necessarily regarding WWDC or the Apple keynotes. We just want to do it for tech in general. And all these people were recommended are not absolutely flawless and perfect. Like, I think you would agree that some of these people have major flaws in their analysis. We'll point those out so you could be watchful, but, each one his own. They have their specialties. Some people are really good in one thing, others in others. And we'll point those out so you guys could find what you like and what you're interested in. And Daniel, I know some of these people you don't know. So I might introduce you to some of those YouTubers that... create great content, and you might pick one of them up. If you're interested in what you hear, we'll put their links to their YouTube channels in the show notes below, so you could check those out.
Yeah.
So our first YouTuber that we would like to recommend is MKBHD. MKBHD is a very talented and award-winning YouTuber. He puts a lot of thought and work into each video. He doesn't prescribe to the quantity over quality mentality. When you listen to his videos, you are getting substance, research, and verified point of views where you could basically take everything he says as factual. And I really appreciate him because he tries to see everything from both perspectives. He doesn't always succeed. He never says that he's unbiased, but he tries. He tries to view something from both sides of the coin and tries to present the argument from both sides. And I really appreciate that from him.
MKBHD is the best tech YouTuber there is. Like, there's no tech YouTuber that compares to him in his views, like his point of views, and in his video quality. Like this guy is he's just a legend. I love
He
every
also
time.
has a.
Okay,
Sorry,
go ahead.
No, you go ahead. Sorry, I cut you off.
Like every time he posts a video, I'm like so excited to watch it because it's like you said, he has so much substance in his videos, and it's so pleasing to watch. And it's like you said, his point of view, it's like he prefers for phones, he prefers Android. For computers, he prefers Mac. But he looks at the good sides of the iPhone and he looks at the good sides of the Android, and he's like, his views are almost unbiased. That's what I really like
He
about
uses
him.
both all year round.
Yeah, exactly.
He uses the iPhone and Android like at the same time. But of course, each phone is like for a certain use. So he'll use like the iPhone for social media stuff, as the iPhone generally works better for those applications, and his Android is like for his text messaging and email, I guess.
Yeah,
I forget.
but
But this guy has, first of all, two very interesting things that I like to point out. The first one is the most important one. He has maybe the most photogenic cat and dog I've ever seen in my life,
yeah, for real.
and they basically appear in every single one of his videos. And second of all, he has the most insanely amazing setup, like in his studio.
Oh yeah, this guy's setup is like legendary.
Like setup as in like the gear he uses to film the videos, and the way everything is placed, like the colors, the design, the light, like everything looks top notch Hollywood style. Like he bought a robot arm, like the robot arms that build cars, but with a camera attached to it to replicate these really hard to produce motions from a human, but that a robot could produce easily. Man, like he paid like 2-3 grand on that, 300 grand.
Yeah, something like that is extremely expensive.
It's insane. Yeah, and like a shout out to him because he's doing some great work, and every award he got, he deserves. Like what he's touching like 10 million subscribers right now.
Yeah,
he's about 10
he's almost at 9 million.
Nice.
This guy deserves. This guy, like his videos they're just amazing, and they're super simple too. It's not like this complex stuff where you don't understand. Like he puts it simple where anybody, anyone
could approach
and understand.
Exactly, and the nice thing about him is he generally covers technology that most people would be interested in. But if you're a really big tech enthusiast and you're looking for more like precise stuff that people don't know about, you're not gonna have much luck with him. And he kind of doesn't upload very often, maybe once or twice a week.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, he's not.
So
your
you should
daily
expect
guy.
that. Yeah, but when he does make a video, you expect like the best quality you're gonna get. So that's a nice thing about him. On to the next YouTuber. His name is Chris from Daily Tech. Now this guy, and he's been coming up lately as well. I think he's up to maybe 150-ish thousand subscribers. About?
Yeah, I think so.
About that much, and he specializes in the way you use your devices, like setups. So he has this theme about this insanely inspiring setup with this device. So he will make let's say insanely inspiring devices. Insanely inspiring setups using sidecar, right?
Yeah,
that was one of his latest videos. Insanely inspiring setups using sidecar, and he shows you how to use a certain functionality to its fullest.
Yes,
if you're the type of person that likes to use a certain device and you want to see the extreme potential of what you could achieve with it. So let's say you want to see the extreme potential of the photo ability in your camera using only your phone and very little like outside equipment. He will show you how to do it and usually you learn how to use your camera way better, and or whatever device you have way better, and he will propose to you other things like applications, equipment, tools, and other accessories, if we could say, to improve your usage and make it better so that you become more performant.
Yeah, like he makes videos like top 10 apps for your phone that'll increase your productivity, or
Exactly,
top
or
10
features.
apps for your Apple Watch, and then he'll make a video about features of the Apple Watch, and then yeah, his videos are very informative and very useful.
He's in the same level of MKBHD. He doesn't have all that expensive equipment, but he puts the same time and thought and quality in each video, which also makes him release less frequently, but still, every video has extreme attention to detail,
Exactly.
and it's really impressive.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else to add for that one?
No.
Excellent. All right, on to the next one. Jonathan Morrison. Now, this guy uploads every once in a blue moon.
Yeah, this guy doesn't upload often at all.
But when he uploads, it's something like mind-blowing. Like, he doesn't upload a review or a discussion or something. He uploads something that no one else has ever done.
Yeah.
Or a perspective or a thought that no one else has ever done. Or a piece of technology that no one else has. Or he comes up with all those, let's say, compilation of under $50 technology you could buy right now, and that provide extreme value, or under $200 technologies that you could buy right now that are very useful and that are value-wise excellent. Like that was his last video, actually, under $200 or around $200 technologies you could buy that like punch way up to weight class.
Yeah.
And he was recommending all these devices that were like super affordable for what they are.
Yeah.
Perform as good or functionally the same as devices that are 4 to 7 times more expensive.
Wow. I'm gonna
take
take
a
a
great
look
guy.
at it.
Yeah, he's a great guy, and overall, he's also very emphasized on quality. If you look at while he's talking in a video, if you look at the
background
of
yeah.
each video, it is always perfect. Like there's nothing out of place. Everything is exactly where it's supposed to be, thought out, beautiful, very well laid out. It's like the visual aspect of his videos are as impeccable as his spoken content.
Yes.
And
that's pretty much it for Jonathan Morrison.
Now, the next person, I want you to talk about him because I know that you have a lot of gripes and appreciation for him in the same time. You have opinions, you have thoughts.
Yeah.
So that's Everything Apple Pro.
So the next one is Everything Apple Pro. Now this guy, his name is Felix, I think. No.
Felix, yeah.
Yeah, his name is Felix. I don't know his last name, and he's pretty big. He's out there in Washington State, somewhere like that, and
or Oregon, I think. Yeah,
something like that, out there, out west, northwest, and Pacific Northwest. And his videos they're different. He's he's a designer, but he does like CAD design, sort of. Like what is it called that he does?
Renders?
Yeah, he does renders. That's what he does. He does renders he does them for the iPhones, and he looks at leaks a lot. He's like, you go to him for leaks if you're looking at like the latest leak from the latest leakers, what's going up. But him sometimes, like, he gets on these rants where when the Samsung Galaxy S10 came out, he's like, oh, the S10 is amazing. He's like, I love the S10. He's like, I'm switching from the iPhone to the S10. And like, he's saying, yeah, the S10 is better than the iPhone in this way and that way and this way and that way. And like, at that point, it's almost as if like, he turned from, he's like saying like, yeah, what's it called there? One UI is better than iOS and this like that. And that was pretty annoying. And sometimes he'll turn and he'll say that these Android phones are better than Apple. And like he'll really like emphasize it, and he'll be like freaking out at like some basic functionality, like the fact that it has an ultra wide. He's like freaking out about that. And his videos are pretty good. His renders are all custom. He makes them himself. But him too, as of late, I haven't really been watching him. But he makes informative videos. He always makes videos on the new iOS that's released. He'll say like all the new features and new functions of like, let's say iOS 12.4, and he'll give like 50 new features that you didn't know were there in iOS 13.
Yeah.
He'll do little.
That's what I like a lot.
Yeah, that's my favorite part about his videos. The leaks, not too much, but his iOS updates, I like those.
Yeah, I actually listen to the leak part. So every maybe once a week or twice a week, he'll make let's say a 10-minute video covering the news that happened that week or up to that point of the week. And what he'll cover it pretty quickly. He'll talk about every single news aspect pretty reliably, describing them and simplifying them, and in a manner where by just listening it, I'm not even watching the video, I'm just listening, I could understand what he's talking about and catch up on what haven't been able to read or analyze during the week. So say 95 Mac released like 7 leaked articles or leak articles or prototype articles or patent articles. I don't have time to read all of those. He does that for me.
Exactly.
And he summarizes it within 10 minutes. And I really appreciate that part. The renders are nice, but they're kind of getting redundant, you know?
Yeah, sometimes, yeah, they are.
Yeah, and I used to be annoyed on how he used to criticize the Apple design, and like you were alluding to earlier, where he always criticizing like, oh, iPhone is very late compared to the competition. But then a few months later, he like kind of repented from that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and lately he said that that the iPhone design is actually innovative, and he actually appreciates it and stop being like all negative about it. Remember when we were talking about many episodes ago about like the 5 or 3 stages of grief?
Yes.
In iPhone prototype usage.
Yeah.
And he was like basically falling in that trap, but it seems like he came out of it, and he was like now he came to accept it prematurely. Like he didn't even go through all the steps of grief. He just like skipped like 5 of them, or like I don't know how many steps there were.
I think
but
it's 7.
He skipped 7 steps of grief. Okay, so he was like at like number 2 or 3, and he skipped all the way to the last one where he came to acceptance, and now he actually appreciates the design, which is pretty impressive. Usually YouTubers don't do that.
No, they don't.
Like, they're stuck in their ways, and they cannot be corrected because they'll look bad in front of their audience. And I was pretty impressed that he changed his opinion and his thoughts about it. Good for him, I guess. And like you said, I like how he analyzes all those betas and those iOS releases, and like finds all of these like details that you would never find on your own.
No,
like,
you wouldn't.
Literally, he finds details like that you've never even saw. Like he compared one version of iOS versus another, where the font size was like 0.1 like pixels bigger. I don't know how he even noticed that.
Yeah, I know. Sometimes like he's like, yeah, this button is made a little bit bigger, and it's like, what? How'd you see that?
Yeah. Or the letter A is like slightly more rounded in this area. They slightly modified the font where the letter A is like 7 pixels rounder. They removed the 7 pixels and put some shading so it looks nicer. Like, how do you notice that? And he always comes up with like those videos where he finds like a really like interesting flaws within the iMessage thing. Like you could send like these characters or messages to people and then it breaks their phone.
Yeah.
Those are interesting. Like I don't know how he finds them. How he finds all those flaws and those new features.
Yeah, you remember the hyphen thing there?
Yep.
Or if you tell Siri to say hyphen 5 times or something, it'll crash.
Yeah, that was funny. Yeah, it'll get stuck on it. So that's for everything Apple Pro. Nextly, we have Unbox Therapy. It's a similar thing to everything Apple Pro. Unbox Therapy. It's a guy named Lewis from Toronto. He's a very nice guy. He's very shallow in his analysis.
Yeah.
Do you agree with me?
For sure.
Very shallow. Don't expect substance from him.
No.
He's a design kind of person. Like, oh, it's nice, and he's not a very I don't want to insult him because he's a really nice guy. He does not have this like argumentative skill where he will present to you a concrete argument and stick to it. His argumentation will shift from one day to another, and so he will perceive a product one day in a certain way and another in a completely contrary way, and it's fine. The nice thing about him is he has access to like these most insane and ridiculous products that you never even think of buying, and he shows them to you, and that's what interests me about him.
Yeah.
If you agree,
he comes up with these thoughts and these ideas that you're like, whoa, never thought of that before. Yeah. But it's interesting. He's fun to listen to.
Yeah. Like everything he presents except the phone reviews and the I switched to for 1 week to this device is good.
Yeah, exactly.
Like he for I think for a moment for maybe the last 6 months ago, like 6 months ago to a year ago, he was going a bit heavy on phone reviews.
He was, and every video was a phone review.
Yeah, and like no one buys phones that often. So like you've got 6 million people watching like each of his video, and each video is a phone review, and no one was gonna buy all these phones. Like imagine you're trying to shop an Android phone, and you have all this gigantic selection of devices, and you have now paralysis of choice.
Yeah, for real.
It's like me trying to find the microphone for the podcast.
Yeah.
This is out of context right now, but I'm still gonna stick to it. I've been looking to improve our microphone situation, and there is so many microphones, so many kinds of microphones, so many types of microphone, so many frequency responses within each microphone, and so many compatibility between microphone and devices we're going to use, and functions and uses. It is insane, and it is the same thing but with Android phones.
Yeah, exactly. For real, like the selection for Android phones is incredible. It's a huge selection. Like I don't know how you decide what type of Android phone you want to buy, because there's just almost infinity choices of phones at different price points.
Nextly, we have Linus Tech Tips. Linus Tech Tips, we could keep on talking about him for hours, but what I like about Linus Tech Tips is the following. He covers topics to the fullest extent of it. And if he does mistakes in his analysis, he does analysis of mostly PC stuff, but he will diverge every once in a while and go on the Mac side and in the weird stuff. I basically ignore all of his PC build videos because they're basically the same, but everything else he does is pretty interesting. How about you?
Yeah, I find his videos are very informative. Like he's like an MKBHD, but posts daily. But he does have he has a media group with a bunch of different guys. But I find
30 people working on his videos.
Yeah. I find his videos are very informative. He just came out with a video recently that gaming on different tiers of PCs. So he started off at like a $300 PC, and he worked his way up all the way to like a maxed out $6,000 PC. And he just does videos like that. Like he recently released a video about, we tested all the cheapest wireless headphones, and these are the ones that we thought are the best. And I enjoy those videos. I find they're very informative, and I find lately his videos have been very good, and I've been enjoying them, and I've been actually like learning stuff from them.
True. So everything except his build reviews.
Yeah, his build reviews are kind of boring because they're all the same.
They're getting redundant. Like we build an all white PC with RGB. We built the all-white PC without RGB. We built the all-gray PC with RBG. We built the all-steel series RGB PC. And those videos I don't watch, but everything else, it's excellent. If you want to learn about technology and like if you're a beginner and you want to start learning, watch Linus Tech Tips. He has really good analysis. He has a really long archive, and most of his videos are still relevant.
Yes. Yeah, and also his video quality is very good.
Yeah. While we're at it, we could just tie in that he has two other channels. One is Tech Quickie, and one is what is the other one called?
I don't know.
Tech Quickie and
I think he only has Tech Cookie. He has another one.
Yeah, he has two channels. He has one that explains Tech Quickie, if I believe so.
Yeah, that one explains like all kinds of things that have to do with tech. Like he'll explain how a virus works, or he'll explain like how CPUs work and stuff like that.
Oh, TechLinked. Okay, so Linus Tech Tips has two other channels. Tech Quickie, which explains concepts in a summarized version. So let's say he'll talk about the subject of RAM. He'll explain RAM, what it is, so that at the end of the video, it's like maybe 5, 6, maximum 8 minutes. You'll have a pretty good and advanced knowledge about what a RAM is, and you could basically follow any conversation about RAM if you listen to this video. And then he has occasional, like a few times a week, channel called TechLinked, where he analyzes news of the week, but for the tech industry in general. So he doesn't focus on one thing. He just focuses on the happenings, and those are pretty interesting too. If you don't have time to catch up on readings, you could just listen to those while doing something else, and they basically behave like a podcast. Interestingly,
true.
Nextly is Dave2D. Do you listen to Dave2D?
No.
Okay, so Dave2D is the laptop reviewer guy on YouTube.
This guy loves laptops.
Everything else he does, I think it's pointless. Like, don't listen to him on anything else. But if you're thinking, especially on Windows laptops are really confusing, you don't know what to get, listen to him. He will give you a really interesting analysis for the Windows side. He is a Mac user, but he always complains about using a Mac, even though he never doesn't use a Windows laptop, which is super strange.
It is.
I don't understand him.
Maybe because he would be complaining even more about Windows.
True. But he does appreciate the finer things in Mac, so he's not always criticizing. He does appreciate stuff, and he's always like he's semi-balanced. He's not MKBHD balanced. He's like in between Unbox Therapy and MKBHD in my belief.
Yeah.
So that's him. Austin Evans, you want to cover him? I don't really listen to him anymore.
He's more of a guy that talks about PCs, and he does those little mystery text videos that are fun. But
that's the one I like. Yeah.
Mystery tech. He does a few reviews of some random products sometimes, but other than that, his video quality is good. His point of view is good, and his videos have a bit of substance, not too much, but they're I enjoy them. I don't watch all of them, but I watch some of them.
True. He brings the comedic aspect to technology.
Yeah, he does.
He's like mixing comedy and technology.
Yeah, like his videos are fun.
Yeah, they're not super in depth like Linus Tech Tips. He tries to be like that way, but he adds too much of a comedic spin, which basically dilutes.
Yeah, it does.
the technological value. So it's a good enjoyment for a watch. Nextly, we have 512 Pixel. If you're a Mac person and you want to learn about Mac history or Apple history, this guy has like basically all the collection of all the Apple Macs and Apple products from the past. And he made a video about almost every single one. So if there's an Apple device that you wish you could like find out more about because it was so revolutionary, he will give you the full history and context about that thing. It's very interesting, actually. And he's mostly a podcaster, so he's not really a YouTuber, but he does have this interesting archive of old Apple products that like no one heard of, that are like 30 years old and super rare,
Yeah,
and he has access to those, which is really interesting.
yeah, it's cool. Like he has a huge archive of Macs.
Yo, it's insane, and he knows like everything about them. That's the really cool thing.
Yeah, yeah. Next is 9 to 5 Mac.
Yeah.
They're a pretty interesting YouTube channel. He usually talks. Well, obviously, he only talks about Apple products. He does some of those videos like everything Apple Pro, about the 50 things in the beta that you didn't know about, and his videos I enjoy them. I don't watch all of them, but he'll do like some Apple product reviews. Usually, that's what he does. He doesn't post too often, but he does Apple product reviews.
Yeah. Actually, my favorite segment of his videos is when he presents a new accessory or attachment that works with an Apple product. So let's say he did a video about that Synology NAS Slim,
Yes. Yeah.
which takes instead of taking 3.5 inch hard drives, it takes 2.5 inch hard drives.
Yeah.
But he presents another point of view where instead of putting hard drives within that NAS, you could put something called 2.5 inch SSD. So basically now you have an SSD server in your house. So a lot of videos like this, or accessories,
Yes.
or
Yes.
ways to do really like obscure things on Mac. They do that very interestingly.
Yeah. So I just want to say something. The rest of the list, I don't watch them.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't watch any of them.
All right. So, well, you probably heard about them, but I'll just
Some of them I did,
quickly.
some of them I didn't.
Okay. Apple
Like
Explained.
most of them, I've heard of him. I don't watch him.
Apple Explained. We've talked about them prior. It's a guy that presents Apple products and topics related to things regarding the history of Apple and why they do things in a certain way, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And he does have a very good analysis in the sense that he will, let's say, condemn Apple for doing something wrong or not appropriately, but also be balanced in the sense where if Apple does something good, he will let them know.
Yeah.
Like he will go extensively. Like he'll go through the history of FaceTime. His FaceTime since before the time of iPhones.
Oh wow.
When they were only on Macs, and then he will cover it to the modern time, and he will do stuff like that. So if you want to hear about like Apple history, he does the excellent coverage on this kind of stuff. And nextly, we have Apple Insider, which is basically like 9 to 5 Mac.
Yeah, very similar.
But very similar. And sometimes they have products that show up in the same time on those both channels. They're not the same thing. They're not the same thing. They have different presenters, different point of views. And I generally appreciate the 9 to 5 Mac for certain things where they discuss a lot about, let's say, eGPUs and NASes and stuff like that. And Apple Insiders, they focus on a lot about the performance and their thermals about the new MacBooks. They focus on that stuff. I like it. And so they give an in-depth, basically Linus Tech Tip style analysis for Mac products.
Yeah, exactly.
Canupsy, he's an upcoming artist from Toronto as well. He just makes inspiring setups. That's all I like about him.
Yeah, I never watched any of his videos, so I don't have anything to say.
Like I could see him becoming Johnny Ive in a few years. He's like super minimalist artist, that kind of person. Luke Biani, also a kind of Linus Tech Tips, but like insane mad scientist version. If you understand what I mean.
Yeah, I understand.
And then And then there's what he does in his videos is he basically takes old Macs and tries to make them more powerful than the Macs that we have today, if
Oh, that's
if
cool.
even he could achieve that. And he goes through a, a series of videos discussing how you could basically get more value out of your old products, and it's really
Oh,
interesting to see how we. So let's say he'll say, okay, you have a 2015 MacBook Pro, and here's the upgrades, the few upgrades that you could do, and this is how much it should cost you, and here's the improvements you'll get from it, and here's why you should do it. This is his kind of videos, and I like it. It's insightful
that's cool.
and
That's cool.
provides value, especially if you own one of the devices and you.
He's another one of them that I don't watch.
Yeah, he's interesting. Um, I don't watch everything he posts, but yeah, it's good. Matthew Castanelli, very short and sweetly speaking, he does shortcut videos. If you know what
Oh,
shortcut
cool.
is, good. If you don't need to know. Polymatter does tech videos. You do know Polymatter, do you?
No, I
Okay,
don't
I think I
remember.
showed you
Even if I
something.
do, I don't remember.
The Grand Theory of Apple.
Oh, that's Polymatter. Okay, that's the only video I
Yeah,
watched
that's
of him.
Polymatter. Okay, so the Polymatter does analysis, like kind of a business kind of analysis of what companies think when they're doing something. And he doesn't only cover Apple. He covers Apple because they are a big company, but he also covers Amazon, Google, Microsoft, and all of the other uh, goings on in the tech world. And he focuses mainly on technology companies, but also on other ones. And like lately, he made a very interesting video discussing the business model of Subway and why it is like the biggest franchise in the world. Like Subway is bigger than McDonald's. Did you
No
know that?
way. I didn't know that.
Yeah. And he discusses how their business model works. And even if you know nothing about business and finance and economics, you will really appreciate how he makes all that stuff. It's incredible. He's really skilled in describing and explaining, and you learn a lot. I'm a student in economics, and I listen to his videos, and every single time I come out with like, oh, that's really interesting. One thing about him is he releases like every once every 2 blue moons, so even rarer than Jonathan Morrison. See what I mean?
Yeah.
And yeah. Uh, Now the next one you do watch, actually. I know that for a fact, and it's Rene Ritchie.
Yes. Actually, lately I haven't been watching him too much. In
Well,
general,
lately
I
no one
haven't
has
been
been watching
watching
anything.
too much YouTube, but
Yeah, because it's summer. We want to chill outside. And we
yeah,
have stuff
exactly.
to do, and vacation and everything. So, but like in general, Rene Ritchie. Let me know if you agree with me. He does this thing where, let's say, the Wall Street Journal writes an article about such so and so. This person write an article like he will respond to these people. The only reason why he does that is because he knows these people and he's at their caliber. Like he's like a journalist at the New York Times level.
Yes.
So, and his argumentation is impeccable. Like on one end of the spectrum, you have Unbox Therapy, Lewis, and then on the other spectrum, you have Rene Ritchie. So you have the worst argumentator on YouTube on one end and the best one on the other spectrum. And he does really cool analysis and explains what companies think behind every decision they do. And he's kind of I like to believe that he's the official Apple lawyer.
Yeah, for real.
He's like the original OG Apple lawyer. He's really nice. And yeah. He gets access to like really unique interviews with Apple, and it's cool. Then there's The Verge.
Yeah, he
Verge.
does. Yeah,
There's no easy way to describe them.
I don't really
They
watch the
they just make
videos.
videos about everything. They just make tech
Yeah,
videos, like anything,
yeah.
anything related to tech.
I've
Like let's say they'll talk about pipelines,
yeah, for real.
random stuff. random
Yeah,
stuff.
they're them.
And
Also, them they don't post too often, but yeah.
they do have sometimes interesting analysis about how users are using their devices and how it is affecting them. Those are really interesting. Like they're saying, oh, okay, there was this one video that I really enjoyed is does how you charge your battery really affect your battery life?
Oh.
And they made this analysis and asked like real scientists, battery scientists, about what is the most appropriate way of charging your phone, how you should do it to preserve the battery longevity.
Yeah, the Verge is almost more of a TV show than a YouTube channel.
Yeah, exactly, like a short documentary.
Yeah, exactly. They're more like something you'd see on TV.
That's right. So they'll go to Amazon's sponsored fusion reactor, and they'll show you how it's working. What's the basically the benefit for humankind in the future? What will we take out of it, and why you should care about this stuff? They'll talk about like all kinds of topics. They're worth looking at. Not everything they say is relevant or interesting, but they do have really interesting short documentaries, which is informative. And lastly, Tyler Stallman. Tyler Stallman is the professional photographer that understands regular people that don't do professional photography. So he's the kind of person that'll tell you, if you ask him, like, what camera should I buy? He said, just buy an iPhone.
Wow.
Why? Because he explains it really simply in his video, that for you to understand how to use a professional camera and to learn how to use it, you could just do it by pressing one button on your iPhone. You don't have to mess with the settings. And he's the type of person that like proves it to you. What is really like he's maybe cinematically speaking as professional as MKBHD.
Wow.
And he's a traveling photographer. He does camera videos, and I'm not really interested in that stuff, mainly because I'm not a photographer. But I do like to learn a bit about that kind of stuff, like basic knowledge about how pictures work. By just listening to his videos, you could pick up about what is the most ideal way to take a picture for like this feature to be well represented. So let's say if you're taking a picture, never take a picture with the sun behind the subject because it will blur out the screen and the subject will look darker.
Yeah.
See?
Yeah.
This kind of stuff. And he'll present it in a very simple way, showing it to you and explaining to you why. A lot of people with YouTube channels that do that kind of stuff, they'll just tell you don't do this and they'll never tell you why. So you never really understand what you're doing. Kind of like Dwayne. Dwayne has his YouTube video channel, and he like just says, "Oh, people don't do this, don't do this." He's like a dictator. He has only one subscriber.
Yeah, he has
his son.
Yeah, exactly. And he doesn't even watch the videos. His son.
Yeah,
he's just subscribed.
He only has dislikes on his videos.
Yeah, like 6 out of 3 views. He has 6 dislikes and only 3 views.
How did that happen? I don't know. Maybe Google have like their algorithm disliking his videos automatically.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
so I think that's it for today. I
guess that's all for today. Yeah. So I think we should end here. We'll try to record another episode not too long from today so that you guys will be able to be supplied with fresh content during our vacation. We apologize if we're not going to be able to make it happen, but we'll do our best. I'd like to thank the Space Javelin podcast for giving us a really nice shout out at the end of their podcast.
Yes,
it was really appreciated. I was actually at the gym on the bench press and listening to their podcast, and at the end, like I wasn't even expecting it. Between a repetition, they shouted us out. I almost dropped the bar on my neck and killed myself because I choked when they said it.
It was crazy.
They're a pretty big podcast channel, so I'd like to thank them for the shout out. And it's crazy if you came from their podcast and you found your way here. Welcome to this podcast channel. and hopefully you enjoyed what you've been listening to. We invite you to follow us at our Facebook page at Again and Again Podcast, on Instagram at again.podcast, and on Twitter at Again Podcast. And you could also email us and message us on these platforms for recommendations, criticisms, topics, questions. And also you could get in touch with us at our email, the2apodcast@gmail.com. And we would appreciate for your support, for you to leave us a 5-star rating and a good review in the Apple Podcast application. That would be much appreciated. Share the podcast with your friends and family, as some of you already did. Thank you very much. So we would like to thank you very much for your listenership. We appreciate it for you sticking till the end. And thanks very much. Bye-bye.
Bye.